Okay, so camera is mirrored apparently, and I'm tilting it and it goes the other way. So let me make sure. So this is how I got it set. So I have the table and then I have a drying rack. This is so weird. I'm seeing things like on the opposite side. Hi, look, there's Chipper in the corner. Hi, Chipper. So yeah, so I have you on a drying rack and I'm gonna place you like so. Maybe I'll even pull it back a little bit. So let's see, it's kind of wobbly. It has to. Okay, well at least now I'll be able to see if you comment anything. Sorry about the thumbnail. I know it looks like crap, but that's okay. So, what have we got here? I got my pen. I can kind of see. It's like right up to my face, so I can kind of see like on eye level. I got my phone. Oh, this cord is going to be right in my way. I got my fancy cup, chocolate milk. I'll have to show you what the cup is later. But you know, I'm thirsty, so. Oh, I'm an idiot. I didn't write down the. I told you I'm unprofessional. I didn't write down the actual spread I wanted to use. Let me see if I can. I just want to like copy it down. I hope it's still recording. Looks like it is. All right. Sorry about this. So this is going to be a 7-card spread to where you are now. Three subconscious or hidden influences. This is totally my bad. Totally unprepared. 5 external influences. 6 is guidance. And 7, if I can see it. Oh, come on. Potential outcome. Thank you. All right, now go away. Be gone. Thank you very much. All right. Potential. Outcome. All right. So I tried to make it look a little fancy. So I got my books here that I'm probably going to use for reference. Got just my amethyst, just to make it look nice. Got a notebook and paper. And of course, my cards. Okay, so it's like way out there. I have to hold them. Haven't shuffled them yet. I meant to do that beforehand. But, oh well, maybe I'll do some talking while I shuffle. So, I said it in text, but I'm going to say it again. I'm nervous because I don't feel like my vocabulary is very well equipped. I've kind of been studying tarot. I did it more last week. I really didn't do it this week at all. And so the cards that I pull for myself, I've only been doing like a card a day kind of thing, and like, you know, doing a little bit of journaling. But the cards I pull for myself are the ones that I'm probably more used to. So I might get some, pull them for you, and I might not know the meanings of them yet because obviously, like, I don't get those cards very often. If that makes sense, I hope. Okay, so what I did, at first I was looking at spreads like for career, because I know that's, oh shit, ignore. I know that's what you're concerned about, but then I got thinking about it, and I realized, like, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I realized you're not really concerned with what kind of job should you go for. It's more of like your anxieties are coming out, I guess, because you're not just like going for a job, like you're going for like a career. So that's like pretty, a lot bigger than just getting a job interview somewhere and then hopefully making some money or something like that. But this is like you went to school for it for many, many years, Aimee. So I think it would make sense if you at least try to go into this field. The only thing, though, I wouldn't know how to do that other than like job search websites. So, yeah. And then another thing, well, first of all, also I'm going to say a lot. See, I always do that. Another thing is, though, these cards aren't going to be like, oh, yeah, it's going to be easy as 1, 2, 3, or it's going to be very difficult, but it's going to be very rewarding. Like there's not going to be any like, clear cut answers of like what exactly you need to do. That's not how tarot works, but so hopefully I'll be able to interpret some things and give you some advice. Like this is why I feel nervous. Cause like, I don't know like what, cause like with me, I kind of have like an idea of like what kind of card I might pull. And sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. I've only started doing that last week as I started studying again. And when I'm wrong, I'm like, oh shit, well, okay, well, at least I was expecting this card and I got this other card that I was not expecting. So obviously like there's some big lesson there for me. And I forgot what I was just actually trying to say, my original train of thought. All right, so let's see. So I've been shuffling them pretty good. I'm going to do this. You might also hear me yelling at Mama because she's been like scratching at the door and the windows and stuff like that. So I have the blinds. I had them closed before I started this because obviously like I don't want people looking in here. And I'm going to try to move this back a little bit so it's like right in front of my face so you can better see the cards. I'm going to text you and see if you're watching. Oops. Beep. So I stopped looking for a spread about like a career because most of them are like about like career changes and like shit like that. And I'm like, she's not going for a career change. She's just starting this career. So then I realized that it's more about like your concerns and anxieties and, fear of the unknown kind of thing. So it's really not the career itself that you're concerned about. Just going to shuffle till I feel like they are thoroughly shuffled. I can't really see. There's a glare on my tablet from the ceiling light, so I can't really see like if anyone's watching. Oh, it says that there's 2 people watching it. I click and it does nothing. Well, that's probably going to be a boring video if you're not Aimee, so I don't know who would be watching this. Unless it's counting me. Oh my god, this video is already 10 minutes long. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, I'm awful at this. All right. Come back up. Get those out of the way a bit. All right, so let's get started. All right, so like I said, this is a 7-card spread. I've never done this one before. Just found it a few minutes ago. 2, 3, 4 at the top. 5, 6, and 7. All right, so the first position are past influences. Ooh, 5 of Wands, and it says strife on the bottom. So this is where it's difficult for an amateur reader because I'm used to like doing them for myself, or I already like sort of know what I'm gonna see because I already have like this preconceived notion in my head. But now when it's somebody else, it's much more difficult. So I mean, I also do kind of know you a little bit though, Aimee. Recently, you've gone through, the past few years, a lot of I would say, I don't know if I would say difficult decisions, but a lot of kind of like life-changing decisions. When you first decided to go to school, obviously like you had to move to Canada. So that was something you had to deal with. And you went to school for 2 years. And then when it came time to come back to the States, you weren't sure if you should come back to New York or California. And I'm glad you went to California because I feel like coming to New York would just be a waste. I think you were talking about going back to your old job, and to me, like, that would have been fine, but it's like, why'd you even go to school if that's where you were just going to end up again? So I'm glad that you went out to California. And so now you get out there after being stuck in Canada after quarantine, and then you get out there, and then there was trouble with the wildfires, and you had to evacuate, and so everything was just like very up in the air. But a bit of advice from myself though is you just got out there not too long ago. I think you have plenty of time to find a job in geology. If maybe even just for the time being, even just get like some like little like maybe a part-time job or something that's not related to geology until you have to keep looking though for that right job. I'm not sure, like I said, where you would look for that job. There might be some listings on like Indeed or something. But yeah, so this is past influences. You've definitely had to make a few difficult choices. I'm just looking at the picture if there's anything. Let's see what the books have to say. How about that? I think I want this one. This is the Crowley Tarot, which I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm using the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck, which is the only one I have. So I'm going to look at the 5 of Wands. Let's see. So it talks about goal as a release of tension, mostly through conflict. The light part is proving one's own abilities, sporting competition. Oh, my voice just went away for a second. Quality, the settling and mastering of conflicts. The dispute is the father of all things. I see if I knew more about tarot, I'd know what to look out here, but let's see. Oh, on the professional level, we are confronted with resistance. Old positions are endangered and must be relinquished. It is a matter of fighting about contrary currents and standpoints in order to achieve a new attitude or manner of action. This card then represents the basic rule. Sorry. This card then represents the basic rule of commerce that competition stimulates business. I think that was good. Energetically, the 5 of Wands is the equivalent of revolutionary renewal. As a result of the excess of the preceding card, completion and disintegration of the system that has been stabilized in a balance. In the Tree of Life, Gebura, which you probably don't need to know that, can be compared with the movement destroying the fixation upon itself. It is the power of evolution bursting the limitations through completion, which was the Four of Wands. And I think I'm going to read this paragraph as well. The 5 shows 4 crossed wands. Let me hold this up here. 4 crossed wands with the 5th one standing upright in the middle. Both of the upper crossed wands are crowned by the head of the phoenix. This corresponds to the purification through fire and rebirth from the ashes. Both lower wands carry the lotus symbol of the creative energy of the Great Mother, causing everything in existence to blossom and thrive. The middle thicker wand bears the Uraeus sign, the king's sun-like symbol of ancient Egypt. And the magus and devil cards, I got fur in my mouth. In the magus and devil cards, the Uraeus staff symbol symbolizes the greatest development and its chthonic roots. The staff is represented in the form of an Egyptian scepter here, a symbol of highest solar power, whose fork-like lower opening originally belonged to the shepherd's staff and served to catch snakes. Sorry, I wasn't even showing you that. So I hope at least one of those descriptions helped. Okay, so that was past influences. I would almost expect to see one of the cards. Let me see here. At least I think 2 major arcanas. But let's see what happens. So 2 is where you are now. And ooh, this is the Wheel of Fortune. Yo, Aimee, I didn't say it on video, but I was thinking about this the other day. And like I mentioned earlier about how I started to do some studying last week, and I was doing a bit of journaling. So like, just for example, I had like day 9, and all this was like a journal about like how my day went. And at the end, usually at the end of my paragraphs, I would say something like, I'm expecting a card from this suit to show up. I'm expecting one of these cards from the majors to show up or whatever. And like this one, I thought I would see the Hierophant or the High Priestess, but it actually came up with the 6 of Cups. But let's see some other ones. I know I did some that actually like came up. Oh, I think it was this one. But it's not important anyway. Yeah, anyway. So my point is, I was thinking about this the other day when you asked me to do a reading for you. And once I realized it was more about your anxieties than it is to actually like finding a career. You've already chosen a career path, which you can always change in the future. But for now, you should at least try to get some of your money back from school by getting a job in the field, right? So I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought maybe there was this one and another one I thought of. Maybe it was death I thought we would see. And I forget the other one, but this was the first one that I thought of that we would see. This is the Wheel of Fortune. This is a major arcana, and it's kind of like in the middle of the Fool's Journey, and it's considered a turning point because it's number 10 out of the 22 major arcanas, right? I think. Where you've gone through, actually, the Fool's Journey, the first half of the Fool's Journey is he's learning all these things, like he's meeting all these people and they have all these lessons to teach him. And then we come to the Wheel of Fortune, which turns, and he takes all that knowledge and he has to apply it. And that's very much what you have to do right now. So I'm actually glad that this one showed up. This is the position of, where did it go? Where you are now. So you are literally at a critical turning point, Aimee, which you probably didn't need a card to know that. But let's see. And I have also the little white book. But I think I'm going to go back to this book again. Let's see. This is card number 10. My God, all these pages are for fortune. This book goes into like every symbol that's on these cards. Let's see. All right, so we got the goal of this card: acceptance of destiny, understanding the purpose in life, and the transformation of the lower into the higher. Are you watching? I don't know if you're watching. I'm sorry, this video is very long. I don't know if you're watching or not, but if you are, I hope you are. Guiding principle: the wheel as symbol of the revolving heavens, the stars of which proclaim the fates of human beings. Okay. Light, unexpected turn of events, good fortune, perception of karma. Or shadow, turn for the worse, fatalism. Fatalism? I don't know. Quality, composure, and high spirits through deep self-knowledge and acceptance of purpose in life. Yes, very much so. So let's see. Time and space. Sorry this is taking so long, but there's so much. My profession. It is precisely in our occupational life that this card helps us have a deeper understanding and insight into the necessary course of destiny. The wheel, therefore, indicates great transformations approaching us, the realization of which we are forced to carry out by fate. The more willing we are to accept this, the more we can shape it, experience it as our true calling, and thereby also encounter the helpful, supportive side of the wheel. So I think that's positive. Oh, this is interesting. So mythology, myths about the threads of life. In Greek mythology, the three daughters of the night spin the threads of fate. Clotho holds the distaff, Lachesis spins the thread, and Atropos, the inevitable, cuts the thread. So remember, like in the movie Hercules, I think this is just interesting. The movie Hercules, those three old ladies like had to share the eyeball. Those are the three fates, and that's their name. So I don't know what that has to do with the card. Anyway. All right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, but I think it's a very positive card. I'm sorry, these long pauses, I'm reading these things because I don't know which one's like going to be relevant to you or not. Well, I'm going to read this. I don't know if it's a poem or not. Can you see it? No, probably not. Time, there is no beginning, no decaying, no past, no future. Nothing changes, nothing can be perceived. What our senses show us is illusion, deception, delusion, and without any value. Everything we perceive, which we take in with our senses, possess no reality. It is not comprehensible, it is not intelligible. A change of being must be found in its transition from being to not being. A change is therefore impossible, and what our senses simulate, namely a continually changeable flow of figures, continually changing events, is a delusion of the senses. Nothing happens, nothing takes place, nothing becomes old, and nothing becomes new. Nothing is taken away, and nothing is added. Being is an unassailable, perfectly round sphere. So I think that's a couple things. It doesn't really sound like it's relevant to you, though. So if at any time also, like you watch this and maybe you want more information on a card, just tell me, like I can come back to it. I'm over here. Yep. So yeah, I'm actually like really pleased that this card showed up. But let's keep moving. The third position is the subconscious or hidden influences. So this is probably where we would see your anxieties, maybe, I don't know if I would say at the core of your anxieties, but at least a glimpse at them. Oh, the priestess. I think, was it her? Oh no, it was the magician I thought we would see also. But all right, but she's right behind the magician. So this is the high priestess. She is a very, obviously, if she's a priestess, she's very spiritually connected, I would say. So how does that fit with your subconscious and hidden influences? I think it's just saying, like, you just have to, like, trust your gut. I know in times of, I don't know if I would say confusion, or when you're on the brink of making these potentially life-changing decisions, it's very easy, like your head could be saying one thing, which is very like analytical, but your heart could be having all of those restraints and fears and anxieties, and so you want to stay in your comfort zone, but your brain is obviously telling you like this is for your own good. And I say that I hope it's relevant to you, but I say that because it's relevant to me with the kittens. Like I have 6 cats right now. And my head's telling me like I can't take care of all of them, obviously, like as they get older. But my heart is like, oh, but you don't want to let them go yet. It's gonna be goodbye forever if you let them go and stuff like that. So if to relate this to you, your questions. Let me open up your questions again. Your questions were, will I find work in geology? How long will finding work go smoothly? I think it will. From starting from strife to having this turn, I think going to California was making the right decision. I think you're still on the right path. Maybe you need to find, I don't know if I would say like a mentor, or maybe you just like need to find like get in the right circle somehow and get in that way. I say this because the high priestess, like she obviously like knows her profession. I guess I would say, like I was gonna say her field, but she obviously knows her profession, and she probably didn't get there on her own. She probably got help from somebody. So let's see what the book has to say. This is 2. Oh, yawning. I'm sorry. Whew. All right. The instinct of the high priestess, longing for the inner sources. What is this? The goal, being guided, being touched, becoming one with the original cause. Let's see. The light is intuitive perception, spiritual wisdom, and patience. This has to do with, though, your subconscious and hidden influences. But the next position is obstacles. So that's probably the one this one's probably the one more relating to your concerns. So this one, if it's hidden influences, I think it's you have to listen to your head and your heart and your subconscious. I'm wondering if you don't know already what the right thing to do is, but you just are looking for advice and you need that just comfort, I think, to keep moving forward. So let's see, what else does this say? I keep yawning. I'm sorry. It's getting late here. Profession. In professional experience, the high priestess either indicates that our area of activity corresponds to the topic of this card, as is the case in therapeutic or esoteric occupations, or it means that we encounter our daily tasks with patience and openness, always prepared to accept new impulses and suggestions without, however, letting the final decision and work-related steps be dependent on external circumstances. This can lead to the happy experience of being led by angels, the inner voice, or degenerate into moody and unpredictable behavior. Consciousness. The card spiritually describes a time in which we focus our attention on the unconscious and the images of the soul and give ourselves over to the creative fantasies and dreams, or also descend to the treasures of the depths in order to lift the veil the high priestess uses to conceal her secret wisdom. The high priestess leads us to our collective roots, which means down into those regions in which all humans are connected with each other. As Carl Jung has shown, we do not only assume the structures from the hereditary material of our ancestors, but also their contents, which are of a collective nature. These primordial images or archetypes are vivid concentrations of physical experiences collected by humanity in the course of its development and that unconsciously shaped the behavior of every person. They are the angel and devil that we encounter time and again. The travelers in these underworlds should always keep in mind that the masks of the unconscious are not rigid, but rather always mirror the face that is shown to them. Hostility gives them a threatening form. Cooperation softens their features. I don't know if that would relate to you. I keep on yawning. Let's see. General. The high priestess rules over the unconscious intuitive powers. Her world is that of lunar wisdom. It is a level between waking and sleeping consciousness where the experiences are prepared in dreams before they are formed into a reality that we can experience. With her light side, she is the expression of forbearance and understanding and supports the unconscious powers for the good of others as helper, healer, or prophetess. In contrast, her shadow side corresponds to the archetype of the dark sister, using the power of her soul to seduce, lame, or injure others. Well, I don't think that's you. But I think it's interesting how this position is about the subconscious and hidden influences. And the book is saying how she's all about like the intuitive, it should say subconscious, not unconscious, but the intuitive subconsciousness that you have. I think that this is more of a tool for you to use. This is not what's in your way that I thought was the position meaning, but no, this is not what's in your way. This is what you have like in your pocket to use to fall back on anytime you're feeling maybe like unsure of yourself, or I'm stirring my chocolate milk. My throat's going dry. Unprofessional. But yeah, so I think this is a very good card for you to have. And like I said before, if there's anything that you want me to like elaborate more on, just say so and I can come back to this, or I can study more about it and I guess get a better, clearer reading. All right, so the fourth position now is obstacles. Oh. So we talked about this card. This is the Four of Wands completion, which comes in order right before this card. And it's also another wheel. Interesting. So how is that an obstacle? Hang on. Well, if it's called completion, I mean, you did complete going to school. So it's like that part of your life is kind of like over. But you need to take everything that you learned and all your experiences in the classroom and with your professors and things like that. And you have to take them with you, obviously. But the school life, as most people find out, is much different than the work life, right? So I'm trying to see how this is an obstacle though. But I think it has to do with how it's like you've completed college and you're in the spot now where you can move forward, but you're obviously stuck there. Like the wheel, it's like it's not moving. Like it's kind of stuck. Let's see. Let's go to the book. I'm glad I have these books here. You know what? Let's try this book this time. This one is Introduction to Tarot, and this one compares the Thoth deck with the Rider-Waite deck. So let's see. This is Wands 75. I passed it. 5 of Wands. 4 of Wands. All right. 4 is the number of completion and foundation. Also, when I think of 4, I think of stability, as in like 4 legs of a table. 4 of Wands represents a completed project or an accomplished goal. The Rider-Waite deck shows 2 happy people celebrating in front of a castle. Can you see this? Right there, yep. In front of a castle, which you also want to buy a castle, right? The garland of fruit and flowers overhead, well, maybe you want to build it, I don't know. The garland of fruits and flowers overhead indicates abundance and harvest. In the background are joyous revelers. On the Crowley Thoth deck is the word completion with the astrological attribute of Venus in Aries. Venus is the goddess of love, so passion with gentleness is required to temper the strong energy of fire and bring affairs to summation. Because these 2 cards have different meanings, use the meaning for the deck you are using at the time of your reading. With the Crowley Thoth deck, observe the cycle of completion. Divinatory meaning, this card may also mean the end of a romance. Oh boy. Sorry. All right, so that kind of helped. But yeah, let's see what this one says then. Like, I don't see this as a bad card. But if it's an obstacle, it's kind of like, obviously, like you don't know where to go next. That's obviously why you're having this reading done by your unprofessional amateur friend. Where am I? You want Wands. Oh, okay, yeah. 4 of Wands. All right, so the light quality of this is completion, inner fulfillment, spiritual ideas. Shadow side is overestimation of oneself, blasphemy, and senselessness. Quality of this card, the inner order of the various forms of life as microcosmic expression of the cosmic order of creation. Can you make any sense out of that? Let's see. Inner level. In the professional field, this card shows the beginning of a new scope of activities or a new project that now, perhaps after a time of long preparation, will begin to be realized. Or we experience the culmination of matter that has been built up with diligence and effort, now connecting the cross of work and suffering harmoniously with the fervor and passion of fire. So you got 2 minors that are both in the suit of wands, and that wands have to do with fire. Obviously, wands made out of wood, they can burn, so it has to do with fire, it has to do with passion and energy. Change, obviously, like you set a log on fire and it changes to ash. So yeah, lots of change. Like you've gone through change. Can you see? You've gone through change with this card, Strife. You are at a turning point with this card, Fortune. You have your strong intuition to help guide you. And maybe this wheel, it's not turning as well as it did before, maybe, but you can still keep getting it turned, keep turning it. As a summary of what we've gone through so far. How long has this video been? God, it's almost 40 minutes. I am so sorry to do 4 cards. Jesus Christ. I don't know you're watching. You haven't commented anything yet. Energetically, this card symbolizes the idea of cosmic order on another level, the origin of the world. The cycle is completed and the circle has closed itself. The original will of the 2 is anchored spiritually through the 3, and spatially fixed, materialized in the 4. The card represents the master of all things that have been manifested and embodies order, the material world, and the law of power. Oh, my throat. I think it's because I'm talking so much. My throat is like, get this like stinging back there. I love chocolate milk. So the next position, I should be writing these down, but I'll write my external influences. So that's Chipper if you hear her moving around in there. External influences. I don't think this would be a bad card either. It's just something that maybe you're not even aware of, or maybe you are aware of it, but you don't realize if it's helping you, or maybe it's not helping you. But let's see. Prince of Wands. You got another Wands, girl. And this is a court card. So this could be someone else in your life, obviously, who is very driven. Like I told you before, Wands are about fire and passion. This guy, can you see? So he's in a chariot that's being pulled by a lion. And lots of energy going on around him. So he's obviously like not sitting still. Does he even have the reins? Are like, he has a very weird shaped hand. Hold on, do you see it? Where is it? Right there. There. It's like he's not even like holding on to the reins. Maybe he's just like, I wouldn't say he's letting fate guide him, but he's like let go. It's on his wrist, like the reins are on his wrist. So he's like, he's in control, but he's also he has trust in his lion steed. So if this is someone else in your life, I wonder, makes me think of like your dad and like how he's helped you out a lot the past few years, especially recently with driving cross country with you. And it also, I think, relates to how I said how you have to take everything that you went through before the wheel started turning. You have to take that all with you into your future. So that being symbolized here by the chariot. But how does that relate to you? Am I answering any of your questions? Let me go back here. Where are they? There they are. Will I find work in geology? How long will finding work go smoothly? So, I mean, this is the outcome card over here, which we haven't gotten to yet. Where? Over here, this one. Which we haven't gotten to yet. And since you're in the field of geology, I kind of expect to see at least one of the discs. Is it discs or pentacles I have? One of that from the suits, because that, like, wands relate to fire, discs relate to earth and also money. So I would expect to see some of that stuff. But this is not giving me any sign that you're doing something wrong. So, all right. Do we need anything from the books about the Prince of Wands? Let's see, ma'am. Ace of Wands. Prince of Wands. Instinct, activity, arrogance, thirst for adventure. The goal is abundance of experience, travel, and adventure. Light, attraction, openness, enthusiastic joy. Shadow side, unrest, impatience, destructiveness. Quality, storm, and stress. Unrest, impatience, and destructiveness. So obviously, like your anxiety is probably giving you a bit of unrest. But the light side of this is enthusiastic joy. So I think if you just have that instead, Let's see. Consciousness. In the experience of the inner life, this card means that we are in a phase of storm and stress. I think you are, Aimee. Yes. We strive heavenwards for ideals or form and advocate fundamental convictions without showing much interest in their objective justification or persistently and seriously question the possibilities of realization. On a professional level, it is not difficult for us to convince the world around us of our capabilities. Instead of just one, there are hundreds of ideas that we would like to realize at the same time. This makes us into a true entrepreneurial genius who continuously sparkles with new intentions, of which many prove to misfire because of our impatience when we forget to take the time to factor into consideration. Everything will just be a straw fire consumed in its quick heat without endurance and patience. We then resemble the clown who juggles with soap bubbles, masquerading, however, as a self-made man accustomed to success. Well, okay then. This card can represent a person in any area of life, but can just as well mean an experience in the corresponding area in question. Let's see. General reading. The Son of Wands stands for a warm to heated atmosphere in which high spirits, passion, and effusive enthusiasm are found, as well as impatience, hot-bloodedness, impulsivity, and impetuous exaggeration. I was wondering when you were going to jump up here, Mama. Hi, baby. I don't know if you can see her. Huh? You can see her leg. Uh-huh. You silly girl. Where was I? Whether we are allowed to enjoy the warmth or must fear the heat and its inconsistency depends very much upon the type of area in life characterized by this card. The impatience it expresses means we want everything and want it immediately. If this does not succeed or we do not receive what we want, Mama, naughty girl. If this does not succeed or we do not receive what we want, we react with a temper tantrum, anger, and aggression. On the other hand, the warmth of the Prince of Wands is stimulating and rousing, sometimes relaxing a frosty atmosphere and bringing new energy into deadlocked situations. I really hope this is helping you out. So I'm still a little unsure about this one. Like I said, I don't have a bad feeling about it, but the court cards are always... they always stump me. I feel like there's something I'm just not getting about them. I feel like there's more to it than what's at their face value. And I just can never seem to get it. So that's your external influences. So this obviously has to be somebody in your life. I think you should keep relying on that person, though. Or you could be thinking about somebody else, and maybe I'm totally wrong. But from what I know, this makes me think of your dad and how, literally, using a chariot, you guys, drove across the country together. But I think you should keep depending on him. Or, you don't have to, solely depend on him, but keep him as, I would say, an ally. Because I think this represents your relationship with him. Whether you are the one driving the chariot and he's the lion, or he's behind you and you're going your own way and he's just there to help you if you ever need him. So yeah, I think that's good. Sixth card is guidance. So let's see what guidance. This is another wands. Seven of Wands. This is Valor. I swear these are shuffled. What I do when I shuffle them, these are already shuffled. Because there were times where I would do a reading for myself and I would get several of the same cards in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, these obviously were not shuffled very well. So what I do when I shuffle them is I do like the regular kind of shuffling like this. But then I also individually put them down into like 3 or 4 more piles and just keep placing them down and, mixing them up, whatever. So to have a bunch of these wands showing up is quite interesting, I think. Seven of Wands, Valor as guidance. Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands. Instinct is daring, attack from the defensive position. The goal is resistance against the external world. Light is bravery, courage, and fighting spirit. The shadow side, indecisiveness, ignorance, discrepancy between instinct, courage, and spirit, sense. You think so, Mama? The quality, heroic dedication of personality, daredevil behavior, rising above oneself, power of regeneration. Energetically, there is an overlapping of bravery and assertiveness with degeneration and weakness. Crowley sees the 7 in relationship to the Tree of Life as a weak, earthy, feminine number and speaks of a departure from balance and a loss of trust. Even the support of Mars in Leo is not adequate to oppose the degeneration of the energy, and a great deal of bravery is needed in order to defend oneself against destiny, which will ultimately win the battle. I don't think that would help you, because this is in the guidance position. In our occupation, this card proclaims conflict with opposing powers to which we are hardly equal in the long run. We are attacked and initially distinguish ourselves with a quick reaction, but perhaps by overcoming. This then leads to further aggression from the outer world. Only a daring maneuver offers a chance for victory. On the level of our consciousness, we face the realization that there are situations in life which it appears that even our best is not good enough. Instead of our resigning because of this, the card challenges us to rise above ourselves by way of an audacious act of daring and thereby achieve the breakthrough. I think that's very important. I'm going to read that again. On the level of our consciousness, we face the realization that there are situations in life in which it appears that even our best is not good enough. Instead of our resigning because of this, the card challenges us to rise above ourselves by way of an audacious act of daring and thereby achieve the breakthrough. So I think that is your guidance right there. You have to do the one thing that you're probably afraid of most, and that's really going to be your breakthrough. But don't forget, you're going to have who I'm saying your dad. You might be thinking someone else. Right there beside you or behind you to back you up, to support you. And you have to do this one, I'm not sure what it is, but this one thing, you might know what it is. You might not want to admit to yourself that there's something that you need to do, but I think you should do that one thing. So yeah, all right, that's all it says about that. I think that's very important. All right, and then the last card is the potential outcome. Potential outcome. All right, so this is not for certain, okay? There was something I was going to say at the beginning, but I forget exactly what it was. Like, regardless of what the cards say, it might have to do with what I think I said before. Regardless of what the cards say, like, I think you deep down know already what you have to do. You're just looking for the guidance and the comfort to know that you're not doing this like totally on your own. All right. So the potential outcome is the Two of Swords, and it says peace. So the number 2 I don't know much about numerology, but I believe number 2, it always makes me think of like decisions, like this or that, which obviously is what you're dealing with right now. This is also the only other suit that you've got in this reading, aside from, I mean, the majors, but they're not really a suit. But swords have to do with intellect, thinking, air. Like your mind is very sharp, obviously, like a sword. Like I think you do have a very, very sharp mind, Aimee. Much sharper than mine. So potential outcome. I don't think you're not going to have like another decision. I think this is just like a reminder of the decision you have to make. I don't think it's like, I mean, I don't see it as a warning, but it could be like saying, be careful of indecisiveness. Like if you ignore all of this that I said, I hope most of it made sense. But if you ignore everything that was done in this reading, or if you're like me and like you have to do something but you just keep putting it off because you just don't feel like doing it, you're not going to get anywhere. Your wheels are going to be stuck, and you're just gonna keep staying right in this. There's literally a square one of where you need to get out of. So let's see what this. It's almost an hour long. Jesus. 2 of Swords. I'm yawning again. Oh my god, I'm going to bed after this. The Spirit of Balance. The instinct is dualistic thirst for knowledge. The goal is counterbalance through finding of knowledge. Light, reconciliation of differences. I don't think that relates to you, though. The shadow side, unresolved conditions of tension. Since there is a balance of the powers, the tension cannot be diminished. I don't know what tension you would have. If anything, it's probably like internal tension if you have any of that, probably. Yes, Mama? The qualities, balancing justice. Energetically, the Two of Swords characterizes the thinking that polarizes the world in order to comprehend it. This concept of reality prevails today as an imperturbable principle, desiring to structure all thought patterns accordingly. The person who seeks in this manner makes an effort to measure the world as he recognizes it and reduce everything to the basic formula of yin and yang. Let's see. Mama? No. She's being bad again. In the inner experience, this card shows that we live out the pleasant power of the mind, found in the ability of penetrating to the core of things and producing clarity and solutions, even in situations that are apparently hopeless. These are well-assessed and balanced solutions and can therefore lead to peaceful reconciliation in controversial questions and to harmony after phases of fragmentation. On the professional level, the polarization of thought, Two of Swords, brings progress thanks to clear, balanced strategies. The card can represent the clarification of previously controversial and contradictory positions, the settlement of a conflict, or the well-considered and calculated planning of a new project. It shows that we may reckon with fair evaluation and/or that we are called upon to treat and judge others in the same manner. So yeah. So in summary, I don't see any bad cards. Like I got nothing negative going on. think probably like the worst one was probably the strife one, but this is in your past, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's see. I'm just trying to like think of what we talked about, or at least what I talked about. I'm looking at the camera. I know it says one person's watching. And you never answered my text message. Oh, you did. Oh. I just saw that's like almost like an hour later. I hope that this helped. I really do hope this. I need to expand my vocabulary. But it's interesting to see similarities in the cards here. Like obviously like the two wheels. There's two people. This one is external. This one is internal. This is your intuition. This is someone you can rely on. I see growth because you go from strife to completion to valor and then to peace. So that's definitely really good. And then you have the Wheel of Fortune. You just got to keep that wheel moving. So I think that's it. But like I said, I don't see anything negative. I think you're on the right path. Let's see your questions again. Will I find work in geology? How long? I think it's going to be quick. Like if you keep like you have to keep pursuing it, young lady. All right, but all these wands indicate rapid change to me. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 wands out of 7. That's more than half of the spread. So yeah, I don't think if it were the slowest of the suits is actually the Earth discs. But ironically, you're in the field of geology and you want to make money, so they're both relating to the suit of discs. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to take long at all, but you have to stay on track though. Okay. And will finding work go smoothly? It's hard to say. I don't see anything in your way. If anything, you might be like your own worst enemy, kind of. You know, because like there's nothing really holding you back except for yourself. And I think that's all I got. But not like in a bad way. Like you're not holding yourself back in a bad way. It's just that fear of the unknown. But you definitely have what it takes. So that's what I say about that. If you have any questions or you want anything more clarification, just say so. Let me know if this helped. Let me know if you liked it or didn't like it. And I'm going to stop this because this is an hour long to read 7 cards. So I hope you liked it. All right, I'm going to end this now. Thanks for watching.